Here's another follow-up tutorial after the building. I want to talk quickly about other city furnitures like utility pole, traffic light, signage, mailbox, maybe vehicles as well. Just keep in mind we want to do this in real time later, so everything has to be efficient or low polygon. So one way I keep tracking the number of polygons is you go ahead create a wireframe display auto view. So here I can switch the wireframe. You can sort of see how many triangles or polygons was embedded. So the way you can create this new view is by adding a new one. Then here in the settings, you can turn on the wireframe to on. You can turn off the high quality. So that's how you're gonna switch the view from the rendered solid view to wireframe view. Okay, so I can quickly switch back to concept. So just pay attention to the number of polygons or the density of the wireframes. So first thing I want to do in this one after the building is I want adding some new details. Really, it depends on the site. You might want to see some signage here, some utility poles. Right here, you don't have to model the cable, that's a little bit too much, but we want to have some pole here, maybe some signage, and here you can see mailbox. Okay, so back here I will go to city furniture. I will go ahead find some utility pole. You can just type, you can search. By default you see this is under energy. So in the future, if you do want to find something relevant, you can go to 3D model and go to the energy. Here we go. You can see something related to it. So it's a really good way to organize. Alright, so I like, for example, this utility pole. It's a really simple one. You want to do a simple one. So here you can double click. The utility pole will show up. Simple like this. Right? Try your best to match the location based on the image, based on the picture. If you know there will be a sequence of utility poles, you can just draw a line and it will create a bunch of them. And you can always reduce the density, so you can get something close. Right? So you got a sequence of poles. Really depends on your site. You can choose either double click, create a single pool, or you can do a row of them. Once you do a row of them, you can double click. You can always revisit the density. You can also revisit the manipulator. You can change the height. You can also change the location by drag the arrowhead. Okay. You can also switch. If you change the style from one to another one, they all update automatically. So that's really nice. If you do this as a group, as a row, instead of doing this individually, just make the editing a lot easier later. Even I'm thinking if it's not exactly like the real location, it's not precise, it's okay, because again, we are just doing a simulation, driving really fast. So you are not really be able to see the details of it. Okay. So in this case, maybe I want to do a really long one, going through the 1 mile or 2 miles. Some of them, if the location looks weird, you can always see like individual and delete. So it does not really affect others. Later we'll double click, it should still treating this as a group. See? So double click, I can change this back. Alright. So I think that is about utility pool. I do want to make sure this one is a little bit higher than the current one, based on the street map image. So that's the pool looks like. Then the next thing I want to do is adding some signage. So go back to city furniture. You can go to the sign. So there's a bunch of signs here. if you know exactly what sign you are looking at, like a stop sign, you can double click to hit the stop sign. The same thing, you can adjust this sign later. I can change the scale. So there's a lot of things you can do to make the sign looks right. Okay. Alright, so that's the stop sign. You can also go to the 3D model. If you go to the I believe is the railway. Oh no, where is sign? I think it's in the traffic. Yeah, so here you can see a lot of signs. If you don't see the one you need, just try to find something close. In the future, we will cover how to create your own customized signs. But for now, you're just using the default. You see this one is actually a 3D model saved in your local drive. Okay. Alright, so that's about stop sign. For others, what else we need? The mailbox. So if I do the post on the box, there's not really a good mailbox here. I think in the future we probably want to do it by ourselves. So just keep in mind, that mailbox probably is not the one we want. It doesn't look like a mailbox. But anyhow, there are some okay mailbox in the library. Okay, can put it, just use it. It's floating. You want to make sure adjust the height. Okay. All right. So that's roughly about how to do the furniture, the city furniture. So for you want to do the utility pole, mailbox, signage, street light, and maybe some vehicles. For street light, so here I can type light. There are a couple of default, just using the one as close as your site. Then you can draw a line. Probably I want to do is reduce the density, and you can increase the size. Okay, so we got a bunch of light right there. This looks good. So that's about the light. For the vehicle, I can go to car. You do want to make sure you're not overdo this, because we're just driving through the site. If the car is pretty far away from the road, I don't really want to actually model this in 3D. But if there is some car there, you can do a array, so the car is there. I don't know, maybe it's not that visible when you drive. But if the car is really close to the road, I know in some single family house, maybe they have a car right here along the road, so you can just do a single car here. You can also change the style. So if that's the yellow one, I can do a car here. Okay, so that's how to adding these individual details in your site. Okay, with utility poles, with trees and other stuff. For trees, I will keep that in a separate tutorial, so you don't have to worry right now for the streets. And also, I think we might need to redo some of the traffic light, because right now by default the traffic light is pretty basic. Oh, I should cancel that. Okay, so the traffic light is pretty basic. Oh, what I have done. Undo it. Okay. Yeah, I accidentally dragged the traffic light to the road. So what happened is, in Framework we're trying to embed the traffic light as an array along the road. This is gonna be too heavy. But if you want to just add a traffic light, Right, so there are some default traffic light here. You can double click, you create a traffic light. It's not really the one like the site we have. You can see it's actually not right. But let me just add it here. You can at least have something. Right, this is automatically dropped to the terrain, so that's really nice. Just move a little bit to the corner. So have this traffic light. Yeah. Eventually, I think we need to model some light hanging in the middle from the cables. So maybe just do 2 of them on both sides. Yeah, that could be a solution. So here, if I do another straight light, if I do the symmetric, it will looks like the situation on our site. So move this. Move up a little bit. Right, so you have the light from both directions. Oh, this one is floating. So you want to move this one down. Yeah. It's okay even this is embedded on the ground, inside the ground a little bit. It's fine. Okay, so that's how you got this traffic light. All right, I think that's conclude this city furniture tutorial. For the car, for the light pool, for the utility pool, and mailbox.